What's going on, everybody? Hyper here, back with you with another locals recap. And man, this was a tough one. This was a tough week. I think, as I alluded in the previous locals video, this week was the World's Qualification Tournament, and it really did not go well for me at all. It was probably one of the worst weeks, and probably won't be the worst. But I mean, right now it was the worst. But yeah, I just don't know what happened really, except for the only thing I can guess is just being over clever. And I get a feeling that those two cards that I had added in really just screwed me. And I also maybe kind of feel like maybe I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to do good and to qualify and all this. And I think even like I expected everyone to bring their sweatiest decks. I expected it. I knew it was going to happen. And I gotta tell you, I saw cards I had never seen before. Never seen them. Didn't know how they worked. I learned that apparently, if you make your opponent skip their main phase one and their battle phase, they miss their entire turn. I didn't even know that was a thing. I think I saw Artifact Scythe so many times. Just made my head spin. It was insane how many times it came up. And yeah, I actually got to see the Brave engine for the first time. That was an experience. Yeah, it was an eye opener. And I will say this, thankfully, Master Duel has finally released all of the Brave engine and I think all but one card for floateries. And so it'll be good because it's going to, again, be more practice. And so then hopefully by um, the next qualifier, hopefully I won't do as bad. I'll be more seasoned. I'll have more experience. And hopefully, having that experience will teach me not to be over clever like I was. So let's break it down, guys. My first duel ended in a draw. I'm gonna be honest. I felt like it was kind of lucky, to be honest with you. And it was sort of a dark deck. It was just a mishmash of dark cards, and again, cleverly put together. Um, just super clever in how he put it together. Ended up, I lost the first one. I had learned from my mistakes. I shuffled in the right cards and ended up bringing back a win. And then for the second match, I drew again, guys, against Drytron. This was the one I was telling you about where, if you lose your main phase one and your battle phase, you lose your turn. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I just know the first match. So the first match, or I guess you say the first duel, I turned it around. I unknowingly stopped him. And then I just turned it around on him and OTK'd. And then the second duel is where I lost, and that's why I learned that huge lesson. And then I almost had him for the third duel, but I ran out of time. And I was gonna summon Shao Fang and lock him out of light, which would have again shut down his entire deck. but I ran out of time. And I had asked him, hey, if I had one more minute, would you have surrendered? He said, yeah. And it's just like, I got to be faster. I got to be more consistent. I get experience. Just something I've got to get, you know. So, third match, finally something had gone my way. I ended up winning against a plunder deck. And won the first one, lost the second, and then won the third. And I was like, okay, finally, I can gain some momentum. I can get things going. And this is where I'm starting to see those new cards. I'm starting to get, be introduced to them, how they work. And the fourth match, I think, is what sealed me. Because it was against a adventure Eldlik. And I mean, I fought Eldliks before, and I had sighted in. And plus, I knew he was playing Eldlik. I knew that. And so I'd sight in all of my Lightning Storms, all three, and Feather Duster. I sighted in everything to counter him. Although it doesn't matter if you don't draw it. You can have all the right cards, but guess what? If you don't draw it, doesn't matter now, does it? And that was just my luck. Just couldn't draw. And I think I realized that I had really built my deck mainly on going second, which that's fine. But I don't think I had the confidence to go first with it. And I think that was probably my undoing. And I didn't have the confidence to go against these much better put together decks with what I had and find a way to win. It's like all the air was out of my sails. And it became so apparent on the fifth match where it was a stupid mirror match. And I lost both. The first and the second. Just making stupid mistakes. Careless mistakes. And I just let my emotions cloud my judgment. And they just got the best of me. So I did terrible. I did really terrible. And then they decided, hey, let's hold a tournament, another locals, for all the losers. And I was like, sure, why not? It can't get any worse, can it? Well, that was the wrong thing to say, because yes, it did. It got way worse. So I went against the same Drytron player. He had altered his deck a little bit. Ended up losing both. I didn't make a single change, but I ended up losing both. Didn't draw anything. There was nothing I could do. And so then I went in my second duel. I had played against this guy. And he was playing a Skull Servant deck. I honestly have no idea why he's running it. It is just, it's so easy to counter on every front. Even when he got his King of the Skull Servants out, I was like, okay, Imperm. Now it's down to 0. What are you going to do? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Oh, hey, I can just destroy it. Here's Barone. I can just destroy it. Or, hey, I can just send it back with Vishuda. Or I can get Sathana and just, crash my monk. There was nothing he could do. So, ended up getting 2 dubs on that one. Really easy. And then I my third match, went against the Zombie World. Oh, it was the worst. It was this, it was the culmination of everything that had happened that day, where I drew nothing. I always try to put up a defense, and I drew nothing. And just to say that it wasn't a psychological blow would just be a huge lie for me. And I think a lot of it had to deal with just me putting a ton of pressure on myself. And I try not to, but it's like I expect better from me. And it was just interesting. In my last match, there was a guy who was watching, and he said, "I understand that you're frustrated." He said, "I've been watching your match." And he said, "I think it's clearly evident you drew nothing." But he said, "You put up a good fight, even though you drew nothing." He said, "The problem is you don't have the experience, especially with that archetype. It's a great archetype, but in the hands of an amateur, it's nothing." And he said, "What you need is experience." He said, "Once you get that, you'd be unstoppable." And he even told me, he said, he reminded me, he's like, "You've only been playing, albeit, I mean, if you want to say competitive, fine." But he said, "You've only been playing for 6 months." And I kind of let that sink in for a bit. And especially when I got home. And I was reminded of in my past, when I was in 8th grade, I was really into chess. And I think 8th grade was really the apex of my career. That and my freshman year of high school. And when I was in 8th grade, I had ended up becoming 6th in the state in chess for my age group, which should have been a monumental achievement for someone who had to teach themselves how to play and really had nobody to play against growing up. And I was unsatisfied. And I remember my parents telling me, "You just got 6th in the state and you're unhappy?" And I didn't have the emotional maturity to handle that. But, when I look back on it and I think about it, it's like, look how far I've come and look what I've accomplished. And I'm saying to myself, it's not good enough. Doesn't mean that I need to be complacent or that I need to be relaxed. But it doesn't mean I need to be uptight. And I need to learn to appreciate how much I've been able to learn in such a short amount of time, where I didn't know starting out. I didn't know about links. I didn't know about exceeds. I didn't know about synchrons and all that. I didn't know about that stuff. Because, I mean, as far as I knew, the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was about, the vanilla Yu-Gi-Oh! That's all I knew. And, that first match, I remember that first match in Master Duel. And all of a sudden I see that blue link card, and I look and I go, what the heck is that? And so me trying to learn all this stuff, all these cards, what they do, how they work in such a very short period of time. And number one, to do pretty decent in locals. And I remember another guy saying, he said, to be honest, I thought you'd lose all five. And, kind of thinking back on it, I should be kind of proud. I've been able to step into a world where I don't have the experience that these guys do. I'm not as good as these guys. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me admitting it. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to lay down and I'm just going to say, "Oh, well, this is the best I can do." I'm going to try to be better. But I don't think right now I'm ready to make a world championship run. So I don't think, maybe for the rest of this month, I don't think I will play in the tournaments at the locals. Not like because I'm burnt out or anything, but I guess more to get my mind right. And I need to take time to help my wife and to help my children, to kind of be there for them. I'll continue to put out videos, but I think taking a little break will help me. And it'll also give me time to think about new strategies, to come up with plans, and give me more exposure to Floateries and Brave. And I actually created an Adventure 10 knee deck in Master Duel. It's taking some getting used to, but I gotta tell you, it is flippin' powerful if you can pull it off. And I think I'm gonna put some twists on mine because I just don't. It just doesn't feel comfortable the way it is now. But as I said, if you're able to pull it off, it is amazing. It's got a lot of gas, and it can go through a lot of negates. It can break down boards. It's a great deck. Doesn't mean that Swordsoul is completely obsolete. I think Swordsoul is still powerful. But I mean, everybody's trying to learn Floateries, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've lost to a single Floateries yet. I'm not saying that I won't, but I haven't lost to one yet. And I think maybe it's because it's missing that spell card that everyone's been talking about. But Floateries just seems incredibly easy to shut down. I don't know why. Maybe people aren't playing it right. Maybe that's why. I don't know. And just getting, as I'm getting more experience with the Brave engine, I'm kind of seeing, okay, here's where its weaknesses are. Here's where you can stop it. Here's where there's the point of no return. It's like there's no use in trying to stop it at this point. So me being exposed to that is helpful. So anywho, as I said, I'll still put out videos and things like that. But don't expect another locals until August. So thank you much, you all, for your support. I hope that you will like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you can help me with some ideas, things that I could try running, things that will probably help me the next time. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.